It's almost fall, so it's time for letting go. And this is the second and final of my two-talk series on letting go. This letting go work will be continued during the burning bowl ceremony on New Year's Eve right here, where we actually get to use the power of the burning bowl and the element of fire to help us release whatever doesn't serve us. So in order to set the stage today, I found this really fascinating concept by Carl Jung, and it's called the three births. Some of you may have heard of it. There's the first birth, which is the birth that we're all familiar with. It's your physical birth. And I like to call this our appearance day, because we're appearing in this reality, because our life is forever. Then there's the second birth, which is the birth of the ego, our way of individuating and knowing that, hey, I'm David and I can do things, and that's good. But with that birth of the ego comes all kinds of issues in this world of duality as well. And that's it, unless you choose to step forward. And this is a choice towards what Carl Jung calls your third birth, which is the birth of spiritual awakening. He said that not all people get there because it's a choice. And the third birth is your invitation to a higher level of consciousness. Sometimes the third birth can be initiated by a crisis, by a spiritual crisis, a worldly crisis, a dark night of the soul. And a crucial aspect of this third birth is that we let go of the world of ego. And this third birth is not an instantaneous event. It is a lifelong process because it is continual work. Some people say it is the work that we are here to do, that we are 100% divine, we're 100% human, but it's our work to remember our divinity that we came here forgetting, especially when the ego came about. So again, Carl Jung said that not everybody reaches this state because ego will resist. Ego does not want to die, and it will play all kinds of tricks on you to say, hey, I'm what's real, I'm what really matters, right? I want to be right. Forget that spiritual message that's happening in your head. So along this vein, because I believe that you, by choosing to be here and sitting here, it's a reflection each week about your commitment to your spiritual journey. And along this vein, Michael Beckwith said that in your mind, do you live in a minefield or in a garden? When we live in a minefield mentally, we are overrun with weeds, worry, doubt, confusion, fear, lack, limitation. So we need to we need to make that choice to cultivate our inner garden and get rid of those weeds. I was also reading a book by Linda Martella Whitsitt where she said, we are the gardener of our soul and the architects of our lives. We're the gardener of our soul and the architects of our lives. Now, for those of you like me, well, I don't do much gardening, but I would certainly like to know more about it, because we are, whether we call ourselves gardeners or not, we're constantly gardening what is in our mental garden. So one of the ways that we do that, one of the main ways that we do that, is by choosing to let go. On one side, we have affirmations where we're grasping for something to attract something or to be aware of something. And over here, we have all of the things that are the baggage, the messages that are often even opinions about ourselves that are holding ourselves back. And so that's a very simple picture of our entire spiritual journey. But we want to be over here on the fun side, don't we? We want to have uplifting, beautiful music like we just heard today. We want to pray. Sometimes it's called spiritual bypassing. Anybody ever heard of spiritual bypassing? It's when you have something challenging in your life and you go straight there, but you don't want to go over here and feel the feelings. So a caveat to this whole talk is before you let go of whatever it is, you have to acknowledge, honor, be ready to release, and feel the feelings before you let go and go over to this side of spiritual growth. So let's just think for a moment. What is it that you might be able to, what is it that is your soul is inviting you to let go today? And maybe not completely. Like I said last week, there's a choice where we can say, I'm willing to let the process begin, 1%. What is it that you're willing and open to let the healing process begin of letting go, 1%? Is it your fear? Is it your story about yourself that someone else told you that you believed for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, and you're ready to let that story go? Is it resentment, anger, judgment of yourself that you've been holding on for many years? Is it the need to prove that you're right in a particular situation? That may be the ego. Is it other people's opinions about you? Is it your opinion about yourself? And I guess this is where the serenity prayer comes in, and maybe a special version of the serenity prayer, because there's lots of wisdom in there. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to, hey, let's insert let go the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. The wisdom to know that, hey, I'm not ready to let this go yet, but I'm willing to have the possibility that I will let it go 1%, or that somehow healing and resolution will happen. So, in total, we can't receive the blessings of the new if we're holding on to the energy of the old. It's just, think of trees. That tree is not going to have new leaves unless it lets go of its old leaves all in our garden. So it's a blessing when that happens. I realized I had to let go. This has been really deep. As I wrote this, it's been deep spiritual work for me. I realized, what do I have to let go? One of the things is I just turned 60 and I have to let go of ideas about what 60 is. I realized it was so funny. In some places I'm considered a senior citizen, and I get 10% off at Burger King. I get 15% off at Applebee's. I get 15% off at Kohl's on Wednesday. Yes. Right? There's a long list. And part of me is like, I don't want to be a part of that club. I don't want a discount at McDonald's on the coffee yet, right? And some of you are saying, David, get over it. Right? So, David, let go of that, because we're all young puppies if we choose to be. Ever met a young puppy, 90-year-old? Ever met a young puppy, 80-year-old? We all have. It's because they've let go of what society has to tell them about that. I look at pictures of my parents when they were 10 years younger than I am, and they look about 20 years older than I am, because everyone in society said, okay, you've got to stop exercising, and you got to have your hair a certain way, and you can't do this, and you can't. And everybody decided that, okay, yeah, when I'm 50, I'm aging. And so it is. There's your answered prayer right there. So what is it about this consciousness? Now, something is happening, because I read an article that cavemen, whether you want to call that 30,000 years, 300,000 years, 1,000,000 years, depending on what your definition is, only lived to 25 or 30 years old. And until 1840, in 1840, the lifespan of an adult male was not much higher than that. I believe it was 35. But now look at it. The world is living longer. And I think a lot of it is up here. Sure, a lot of it has to do with nutrition. A lot of it has to do with vaccines. I don't want to get too political now. Let's talk about vaccines. No. But it has to do with this right here. We see, I mean, one nice thing about social media, I don't often say that, is that we see, the new 60 is the new 40. We see examples of people modeling this for us. And it's all up here, letting go of those notions. So a little bit more, the other thing I had to let go of was control. Just control. And that would be a whole long list of things, so I won't bore you with that. But I realized that simple thing, letting go of control. I can't control everything around me. But I deserve some credit because I realized in my life, looking back, I let go of some things when I was in the third grade. I let go of identifying myself with what everyone called me from. They said I was remedial in kindergarten, first grade, second grade, because I was behind the whole class. I didn't know how to read. I didn't know how to do 1 + 1. And when I first got into kindergarten, and I remember in the first grade, they put me in a corner with a few slower people, and so I said, okay, I'm slow, I'm remedial, what would a kid say? I'm dumb, right? But somehow I overcame that, and 5 years later, I was the valedictorian of my junior high. I overcame that, right? Now, since then, it's gone down, but... Yeah, I just had to prove I could do it. What else? I let go of my dream of, I let go of this. I let go of my definition of wholeness. A physical, healed state. Because 99.999% of the world has some sort of a physical ailment. Who here does not have any kind of physical ailment, right? So how can we say whole, perfect, and complete? We have to change our definition. I am whole, regardless of what conditions exist as health issues. I am whole. So I let go of that definition of wholeness. I was also encouraged by a friend of mine named Mindy Pelz. You may have heard of her. She is in college, she was a competitive athlete, tennis player. And what happened, her mom told me this story many times, that she reached a stage where she had chronic fatigue. She could not get up off the couch. Now, she went from competitive tennis, she couldn't stand. She was not the couch potato type. She didn't like watching movies sitting on the couch. She loved being outdoors and playing sports. But the chronic fatigue kept coming back, and it kept coming back. And after her last bout of it, weeks of being on the couch with no energy to do anything, I talked to her mom last night about this. I said, what did Mindy tell you? She said, the one thing that she told me was, Mom, I'm going to surrender. I'm going to just let go control. I'm going to stop looking for a cure because, you know something? I can love from the couch. I can still love children that I may have. I can still love in life. I can still love myself. And she surrendered. And guess what happened? She got better. And today she's a Hay House author. She's just published her 7th book. She's a New York Times best-selling author. She travels around the world, and she is tireless. Tireless. So this is the kind of shifts that are possible with letting go. Rumi said that when you lose all sense of the self, the bonds of 1,000 chains will vanish. When you lose all sense of the self. And I was thinking, what does that mean? Some people say, Rumi said, to get into the self, you got to get out of the self. Wow. I think of what it means is you got to get out of the ego. You've got to lose your ego self. And it may feel like you are lost. All those goals that you had that were about ego and being right, you may feel lost. So I come back to Is there anything today that you're willing to let go of? Let's just think of it for a moment. Just one thing. Or two things. Whatever you want. And there's a process in New Thought. We've all heard of affirmations. I am healed, I am whole, I am abundant. But there's something else on this side called denials. And so I want you to think of it this way. Whatever it is that you're willing to let go of, 1%, 2%, 10%, 100%, right now, say to yourself in your mind, this thing, whatever it is, has no power over me. This fear, worry, anger, unforgiveness, regret, sadness, situation, this condition, this person has no power over my peace. I give it no power over my peace. I give it no power over my power. It's mine to decide. My willingness to let it go is an invitation for healing, for protection, for transformation, for the good and the good of all. And finally, I'm tired of carrying this. I've suffered enough. And so it is. So I wanted to finish with this. You may remember 2 weeks ago I talked about letting go part 1, and today is letting go part 2. And I promised that I would come back and talk about this element of forgiveness, and it's called Ho'oponopono. Anybody ever heard of it? Yeah, it's beautiful. And I want to read some of this so I can make sure to get it right, because what the research I found on it is very accurate. I want you to know this and remember this. There are 4 simple phrases. And you can go ahead and play, Michael. And those phrases are, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. So once again, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And these are not admitting any fault necessarily. They are directed inward, but they're also directed outward. They can be apologizing for something you've done, or they can be something that someone else or the world has done. And Ho'oponopono means to make right or to correct. It was a communal practice led by a kahuna, a Hawaiian healer or elder. And families would gather together to resolve conflicts, confess harms, pray together. The goal is to ease personal and family tensions, but the goal is also to create harmony with the entire cosmos. So you can think of any world situation today and apply this. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. Maybe it's the world apologizing to the world. And it's a healing practice because in Hawaiian thought, illness and misfortune were often seen as consequences of disharmony or unresolved conflict of the peoples of the world. And someone named Dr. Hugh Len applied this work in a psychiatric ward. He said instead of trying to fix patients directly, he worked on, get this, instead of trying to heal patients in the psychiatric ward directly, he worked on cleansing within himself the energies that manifested as illnesses in them. Now hear me out. Dr. Hugh Len, became known for teaching that healing begins with one's own consciousness, since we are all connected. What makes Ho'oponopono unique is the teaching that everything we experience, even conflict, suffering, or negativity, is showing up in our awareness, and thus in some way we are participants in it and can help heal it. We can clear patterns, memories, and energies that contribute to disharmony in the collective field of consciousness. So I'm going to conclude by repeating these and just saying a few words after each. And you can just go within for a moment. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. This can be you talking to you. It can be the world talking to the world. Someone talking to you, but it's in your consciousness. I'm sorry. I'm sorry is about recognizing any disharmony that exists, acknowledging responsibility because we're all connected. Please forgive me invites the release of guilt, blame, and separation. It invites the resolution. Please forgive me. Thank you expresses gratitude for the healing that is already underway. This is what we believe in New Thought Prayer. Thank you expresses gratitude because it is already on its way. The healing has begun. And finally, I love you because it recenters the heart on the most healing energy and the deepest medicine that there is. Let's take a deep breath together. So whatever it is that you want to let go, 1%, 10%, 100%, you choose. But no matter what it is, I'm grateful for this realization as we wake up into the birth that we call this third birth. And I'm so, so grateful, and so it is. Thank you.